Canterbury is widely called the most magical day trip in England. It looks like a real-life fantasy film, with ancient city walls built by the Romans in 270 AD, and rivers flowing directly underneath medieval houses. But on my trip, a series of 5 massive mistakes almost turned this dream day into an absolute nightmare. I lost hundreds of pounds to high-pressure tourist traps, got caught on a splitting train, and got completely rejected by the town's top restaurant. Yet somehow, a secret 10-penny train ticket and punting in third price saved everything. Today, I'm showing you the ultimate way to spend a perfect day in Canterbury and the exact traps you need to avoid so you don't repeat my mistakes. Let's jump into it. Every adventure needs fuel. We started the morning early at Galis, treating ourselves to a cult favorite cappuccino and a rich pastry cream cake. But the relaxation ended fast. Our train was scheduled to leave the old city at 10:40 a.m., and we still had to take a subway across town just to get to the main station. We arrived with exactly 15 minutes left on the clock, and that's when mistake 1 and mistake 2 hit us at the exact same time. I booked our tickets online through a third-party app, the train line. Never do this. Always buy directly from southeasternrailway.co.uk to avoid extra booking fees and easy to fix any mistake. But my second mistake was far worse. I booked a one-way ticket for $120 for 2. What the apps don't tell you is that in the UK, buying a round-trip, 2-way ticket means the return journey can cost as little as a single penny, and the return time is completely flexible. I had essentially thrown $120 away. With 5 minutes left, we ran onto the platform and boarded the train. Mistake 3. What we didn't realize is that this was a connected train, 2 separate sets of carriages that split apart mid-journey to head to entirely different towns. With seconds to spare, we realized we were in the wrong half, scrambled out, and ran into the correct carriage. Thankfully, the ride itself was gorgeous, pure untouched English countryside. By 11:40 a.m., we safely pulled into Canterbury West. As you follow the path to the main road, the town opens up like a real-life hobbit village. Crystal clear water flows through stone arches beneath historic storefronts. It's breathtaking, but because it's so beautiful, the main street was absolutely mobbed with tourists. If you walk down the high street of Canterbury, you will stumble across a jaw-dropping, ornate Victorian building known today as the Beaney. But right outside the entrance sits a bizarre clue that most tourists completely walk past. I pass it too. Update me if you see it. It's a sculpture of a playwright and poet named Beaney. But look closer at her hands behind her back. She is holding a concealed dagger. Why? Because she wasn't just a writer, she was a literal 17th century secret agent and spy for King Charles II. And that dagger is just the first secret of a building originally founded to give away the world's strangest knowledge for absolutely free. Because it was built during the peak of Victorian global exploration, stepping inside doesn't feel like a normal, boring modern museum. It feels like entering a real-life cabinet of curiosities. One minute you are staring at beautiful, masterclass art galleries, and the next you turn a corner and you are surrounded by eccentric taxidermy animals, ancient world relics brought back by eccentric explorers traveling the globe, and historical stuffed toys. It is a beautiful, chaotic mix of art, science, history, and literature all smashed together under one roof. And true to Dr. Beaney's final wishes, get back to the main road. We slipped away into a quiet, empty side street and found a charming restaurant serving a traditional English breakfast. Called Lily's Social Kitchen is a social enterprise and community cafe network, providing employment and hospitality training to those with autism and learning disabilities. The beans and savory bread were absolutely outstanding. Right as we finished eating, the sun finally cracked through the heavy English clouds. I could literally feel my batteries charging. I am a total sun worshipper. What about you? Are you a sun chaser, or do you love a cozy, moody, cloudy day? Drop a comment below. I want to know. Next up was the crown jewel of the city, Canterbury Cathedral. It's magnificent, but I was facing a serious dilemma. Do we spend hours touring the inside, or do we try to catch a historic river punting trip along the canals? I checked Google Maps for a quick review and noticed the interior architecture looked quite similar to a historic church I just explored in Venice. By the way, That Venice trip was absolutely wild. Make sure to subscribe, because that video drops in the future. So, we chose the river. We went to the nearest ticket counter, and this is where I made mistake 4. The salesman behind the desk was an absolute master of consumer psychology and high-pressure sales. He looked at the crowds, looked at me, and said, "Look, the river is packed today. We only have 5 private punts left for the entire afternoon. If you don't decide right now, you will miss out completely." The shared boat was only £30 per person. But in a moment of panic, wanting the perfect private experience, I dropped £200 for a private 1-hour tour, scheduled for 4 p.m. Since we had 95 minutes to kill, we walked over to the famous Westgate Gardens. The gardens were stunning. The flowers were in full spring bloom, and right there in the grass, I spotted a specific flower that instantly transported me back to my childhood in Chelyabinsk, Russia. Yes, that's my origin. If you want to know where my travels have taken me and where I live today in 2026, let me know in the comments and I'll fill you in. As I was taking pictures, my curiosity got the better of me. I saw a group of punters in bright red shirts and went to ask them about their tours. It turns out Westgate Punts, their 1-hour tour, covers both the wild nature outside the city and the historic old town center. The total cost for us, only £66. My high-pressure mistake at the first counter was costing me an extra £134. I immediately ran back to the first place, successfully canceled the reservation, rushed back to the Westgate Arch, and locked in a 3:45 p.m. slot with the red shirts. With all that running, we had 1 hour left to just breathe, take a walk back to the garden, and we grabbed another cappuccino right next to a massive, fragrant bush of wild roses. Absolute bliss. At 3:45 p.m., we met our punter, Peter. He was incredibly kind, patient, and full of historical trivia. Being inside a traditional flat-bottomed punt changes your entire perspective of the city. We get in carefully one by one to the punt. Peter navigated us through 3 completely different worlds. First, the quiet, untouched wild nature. It's magical. Then, the vibrant new city. And finally, drifting right through the ancient heart of the old town. The highlight? We had to navigate a tunnel running directly beneath a series of medieval buildings. The ceiling got so low, we had to lean completely flat against the bottom of the punt just to slide through. It felt like a real adventure. By the time we stepped off the punt, we were ravenous. We marched straight to the top-rated restaurant in town, Café des Amis. It was next to the punt zone, a legendary Mexican spot near the West Gate. And cue mistake 5. Due to for the weekend, the place was completely booked out. The manager apologized and told us there were no tables left, and they didn't even offer takeaway. We walked outside, completely deflated. But as we stood by the water, I noticed a couple of empty wooden chairs sitting outside on the terrace. I walked back in, looked at the staff, and politely pleaded our case. "Please, we traveled all the way from London just to eat here. Can we please just sit outside in those empty chairs?" The waiter checked with the manager, and she agreed. We ordered the chicken and duck fajitas, piled high with fresh avocado, peppers, and tomatoes, paired with a hot strawberry tea. I am not exaggerating. This was the best meal I have ever had in England. We polished off every single bite. With 1 hour left before our train back to London, we hunted around for one last pastry cream cake, but the local bakeries were already closing down or finish it. We made our way back to the railway station to face our final problem, our missing return tickets. Instead of opening an app, I decided to walk straight up to the ticket counter and try our luck with the clerk. I explained our situation honestly, told him we arrived this morning, didn't understand how the flexible round-trip system worked, and accidentally overpaid for a one-way ticket. The clerk looked at me, thought about it for a second, and smiled warmly. "Next time, always choose the 2-way option." He asked to look on my morning ticket receipt, tapped a few buttons on his terminal, and pointed to the card reader. I looked down at the screen. 20 penny. I was in complete shock. So here is my ultimate takeaway from a perfect day in Canterbury. Never lose hope, and never let wrong turns ruin your mood. The mistakes, the frantic running around, and the unexpected kindness of strangers, that is exactly what turning a simple trip into an unforgettable journey is all about.